Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin and Ranty. How are you both doing, gentlemen?
Doing well, thank you.
Good to have you both. How are you, Arwin? You good?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Excellent.
I can hear an echo, though, from somewhere.
Could be because you've only just joined. Should dissipate after a minute or so.
Okay. You don't really watch Globebusters much, do you, Nathan?
No, I don't watch Globebusters.
But I watched the Sunday show. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, we had Paul on the plane that was on there, and he was showing some very interesting stuff about the moon landings.
The mud on the wheels and the wet flag, right?
The wet flag, yeah.
Yeah, I saw part of it.
I mean, just some of the stuff that he brought up was absolutely fantastic. But the reason I'm mentioning Globebusters is because they are no longer going to be doing any... Right, Anthony?
Hola.
Hello. Yeah, they're not going to be doing any shows now for the next 3 or 4 weeks, Nathan. So, this is my suggestion to you. Seeing as there's going to be like maybe a couple of thousand people out there wanting some flat Earth kind of knowledge or just more flat Earth stuff, maybe you should think about doing a show in the time slot that Globebusters would normally go on, simply just whilst he's away for the 3 or 4 weeks to keep those people happy and maybe bring the show to a different audience, but maybe in a different format perhaps as well. Maybe not in the show the way that you normally have your show.
Oh, you mean like an echo chamber?
Well, no. I was thinking more like maybe a couple of flat earthers or 3 flat earthers that would come on and maybe have a 20-minute presentation to do stuff uninterrupted, and then maybe have it where a couple of Globers could perhaps even come in and do a presentation for their side of the argument, even if it's a case of it's going against what we believe in. You know, it's more to do with making it more of a structured thing, and Nathan could simply be the sort of like the organ grinder, so to speak, without actually having to tell them off.
Right, so like more of a placeholder for Globebusters that had presentations for flat and globe Earth arguments. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, until in the time slot that Bob would normally do his show, because people will be tuning in. I mean, probably a lot of people have tuned in and not seen that they aren't going to be around next week. So next week they'll be looking for Globebusters and they'll be looking for a bit of a show on flat Earth, and there'll be nobody presenting. Perhaps
you've tipped every other YouTube off to that idea now, but yeah, I'll certainly consider it.
Okay.
To be honest, though, I don't think the public that's used to Globebusters will really appreciate a Glober presentation. I don't think they like that.
Oh, I don't know. If I'm ruthlessly honest, Darwin, or I'll ask it as a question. So, if Tim Osman made his presentation with his absolutely stunning, glorious images, you telling me that wouldn't be fascinating for 15 minutes? You telling me you wouldn't enjoy that? I would.
It would. And to be fair, if nobody actually, it's not there to be criticised. So it's their own little echo chamber. They do the presentation, and then Nathan just goes, "Thanks for the presentation. Next to the next guy." You know, so it's like literally you've got a 15-20 minute time slot to just say what you need to say, show your stuff, do your thing, you know, and it can be open to both sides. But it would have to be, obviously, you'd have to know who was coming on a few days before. I mean, it might be worthwhile trying to get Paul on the plane to actually present again, you know, because his stuff was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I'll certainly think about it. Sounds like a good idea. On the subject of shows, I'm going to do this show slightly differently. So typically, I do like a little link about the hour mark and say there's an hour left. What I'm going to do on this show is actually end it. So there'll be like a little interval, if you like. It'll just give me 5 minutes just to give my kid a drink and get a cup of coffee and so on and so forth. But I want you to be aware of it because the chances are it'll probably be mid-conversation and I'll mute myself in the Hangout, round out the show, and I won't tell anybody. I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing, have my little break, give my kid a drink, and then I'll just start up again. So, you know, for anybody in the audience who hasn't heard this little explanation, they'll be like, "What's going on? Why is it ending? It's only been on 20 minutes." You know. But yeah, after an hour, I'll just round it out, have a break, and then start again for the second hour. So it'll be split into two, basically.
Oh, is that what you're going to do today? Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. If it's a complete pain in the arse, then I might not do it again. But for the sake of it, yesterday happened by accident, and it was quite useful in many ways. So, you know, I'm going to see if it is actually useful or not today. If it is, I'll carry on doing it. If not, I won't.
Okay. So I went and did some observations yesterday, yet again. You're going down to the same place. Conditions are variable, seems like every single day. Sometimes you can see really well to the south. Sometimes you can see really well to the north. Sometimes you can't even see the wind turbines, but you can see the Welsh Mountains. It's really, really, really difficult to try and predict when the weather's going to be great. However, there is one staple thing that I've actually videoed a couple of times now, the last 2 times that I've been. And I'm actually going to name it Rumpus's Arse. And
Does
you'll
it have
probably
curvature?
Or
is it flat?
Yeah, I don't think you won't have seen it yet, Arwin. I think it'll explain it all. But also, I'd like you to keep in mind Soundly and his videos and what he shows as being the real world and how things work. Because obviously, what I've videoed is an anomaly, and it's because I've gone to the same location and stood at the same height with the same kind of refraction things that's going on that makes it look. Well, you'll see it in a minute. It will make it look like something that it's not. And essentially, that's all that Soundly's doing. But for this little presentation, we can call it Rumpus's Arse. So whenever you're ready, Nathan, if you want to present me,
whenever you're ready.
Okay, let me get that up again. Where are we? Right, let me know when I'm good to go.
You're up.
I'm up, right. Okay, so same location that I videoed. Well, I've been doing all my videos from recently on the beach at Ankersholm Slipway, looking towards Barrow. Except this time I've looked south towards the Welsh Mountains. You can actually see part of the Welsh Mountains there, but you can also see there's a clear cut-off point, a refraction zone where this is all mirroring around. But what I want you to do is pay attention to this here, this kind of black hole that I'm going to nickname Rumpus's Arse. Because if we zoom into that, if you didn't know any better, you'd say that it was a black hole. But all that's happening there is the refraction is cutting off whatever that object is. Now, clearly, that isn't reality. That is not what is actually happening here. That is not a real black hole, and it certainly isn't Rumpus's Arse. But for the sake of this argument, we can have it as whatever we want it to be. And that, if anyone can guess, actually, I'll tell you what, if anyone can guess what this is, right, I'll buy them one of Nathan's shirts from his store.
Dark matter.
Do you know what the answer is, though, Ranty? Do you actually know what it is?
I actually know what it is, yeah. I've filmed it twice now from the exact same location. I've been holding the camera at chest height when I've done this observation and looked at this particular object. But because I've been doing it at the same angle, at the same height, from the same location, it gives me the same result. And that looks nothing like what we're actually looking at, but it's just the refraction that is making it appear that it looks like a black hole. So if you think of Soundly, going back to what Soundly does with his stuff, he goes to the same location, he gets down to the same sort of heights, he films the turbines and the wind turbines and everything else in the same locations and gets a kind of anomaly that doesn't actually represent what you're seeing. Now, this is exactly the same. This is a bit of trickery on my part, because if I was to go a little bit further up the beach, you would actually just see this without having this kind of effect going on. So there you go. If you want to leave a comment in the...
is it a vehicle?
I'm not going to say what it is. And you're not allowed to guess, to be fair. You can guess, but you'll have to leave a comment on Nathan's channel after the debate's finished.
Hang on a minute. Judging by where you are and the tower, are you on the north side of the tower or the south side?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you looking north or south?
Right. If anyone can figure out what this is, right? Simply by
south.
I am looking south, yeah. But if anyone can figure it out what that is, right? I'll buy them a shirt from Nathan's shop.
So and I'm not allowed to work it out.
You can work it out, of course you can. But if you keep asking me questions here, is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that, then nobody's going to make any guesses, because you'll have already eliminated 3/4 of the stuff that it could possibly be.
Is it the Ferris wheel?
I'm just throwing it out there for people to make a guess as to what it could be. Right. So if that's your one and only guess, Nathan. That's your guess. It's the Ferris wheel, right?
I said that.
Yeah, that's what I've just said.
My guess was oil rig. Oil rig. My guess.
It's what? Sorry.
Oil rig.
Right. You say it's an oil rig, and Anthony says it's the Ferris wheel. Right. Okay. So.
Let's say it's a tuft of trees on the tippy top.
It's not tuft of trees. Well, you can have tufted trees. There you go. So we've got 3 answers already. And
is it an undeployed buoy?
There you go. That's 4 guesses now. So that's 3 on the panel and Nathan. So we've got 4 guesses out there. So Rumpus's arse. Can anyone guess what it actually is?
Big shout out to the Plain Truth for the super chat. Says it's a pylon post.
Trick of the light.
Right, the Plain Truth is asking, is it a pylon post?
He can have pylon post if he wants. I'm saying you leave your comment in the debate after it's finished. Leave a comment there with your suggestion, and if you're right, I'll buy a shirt and send it to you.
Where was this observation done from? Fleet Earth? Was it done
from Anchor's Slipway? So it's like the beach between Cleveland's and Brisbane.
Hey, Nomi.
Hey. What's up, guys?
Refraction.
Sky, sun, usual.
What else have we got? I don't know.
When are you going to tell us the answer?
Oh, look at this. Well, here's looking at...
Auntie, when are you going to tell us the answer?
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Oh, come on, don't be a dick.
I'll tell you tomorrow. I've got to leave it time for people to put a comment in the actual debate after it's finished. You know, because if you get 20 people guessing and you're all wrong, then I've saved myself a shirt, haven't I? Right, but this is the North Pier. So here we're looking at North Pier. These are the stanchion legs on North Pier. Now, they look nothing like them. So this is kind of giving a hint to my exact location here, because I'm looking in the same sort of general direction. But look at the amount of air distortion that's going on in this location now.
Looks like a watercolour that's been in the rain.
Rumpus's arse. And I'm only about 4 miles away from this, 3 miles, 4 miles. So this is just the effects that we get, because yesterday we had, who was it who came in? It was Tim Osmond, wasn't it? And he was saying, how come when he went down to 2 feet in observation. He wasn't able to see something that was, what, 26 miles away. Well, this is only 4 miles away. And look at the amount of distortion that's going on. There's an object further behind that, and it's almost bleached out. I can hardly see it. So, and this is me being at about an elevation of about 5 feet. So you're not going to see very far on certain days. On most days, you're not. But it is actually funny that he actually did do. He actually proved that it was a flat Earth yesterday. I mean, his observation was brilliant. I mean, how he says it's his location and he knows his location, but he doesn't know the terrain, obviously, because...
Yeah, if Tim's out there, come back in, Tim. Let's talk about that patch of land in the foreground.
Yeah, I absolutely want to rip him a new one for that, because...
if the Rumpus is out there as well, could you come in? Because I believe that you were supposed to have a hangout last night. I'd like to see what your explanation is, please, for the Northland Isle of Man. So 700 feet, missing curve. Let's see it. Come on.
If Charles is out there, love to see your scientific evidence of the R value currently being used by people like NASA. That is all.
If Paul Voight's out there, I'd like to see your evidence for the self-perpetuating nature of molten iron in the core of the Earth to create a magnetic charge that we can all experience on the Earth.
If John's out there, I'd like to see you read his script.
John's out there, what?
I'd like to see him read his script for his crazy Christian young Earth stuff. Hard to believe he was a captain in the army. How about your dad, Tony? Was he a Freemason?
No, not that I'm aware of. He never had any Freemasonry kind of after-dinner meals or anything like that.
Not that you saw.
Well, I don't know. If he was a Freemason, do you think that I'd notice? Do you think I'd know?
It's a very telling answer.
You would know. I have family who are Freemasons, and it's not like a big secret that they're Freemasons or anything.
Well, if I would know, then I would say no, he wasn't a Freemason. If I wouldn't know, I would say no. I'd still think that I would see signs of Masonry, and I never saw anything like that.
That was a very Zen statement. If I know, I wouldn't know, but I'd know.
No, I said if I'm supposed to know, then no, I didn't.
I'm joking, Tony. I'm joking.
Actually, I'm with you, Alan. Very telling answer.
By the way, Tony, I went to the ice cream van earlier, and he actually asked me if I wanted sherbet on my 99.
Really?
I thought of you straight away.
Oh, see, sherbet is a thing. We get blue sherbet around here.
Yes, it was blue.
Yeah, blue sherbet rocks.
And totally wrong. Ruined my ice cream.
So was it ruined because Riley was right, or was it ruined because you thought, what the hell's that?
I think it was ruined because I didn't get 2 of them.
Yeah. We used to have yellow sherbet when we were kids, but it moved to blue when I was about 15 and stopped eating them. Well, started again when I paid my mortgage off.
So sherbet is really popular in Liverpool.
Sherbet is, you know what sherbet is, right? Crystals.
Vaguely.
It's like very strong flavored crystals. It's like powdery stuff. You stick it on your ice cream. It just gives you a bit more texture to your soft scoop ice cream. It's lovely.
Oh, I thought it was like a kind of non-dairy based ice cream.
No, you can't have non-dairy based ice cream.
It's an effervescent powder.
Just sugar.
Yes.
Is that how it's described?
Yes.
What's it made from?
Effervescent means bubbles, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So it's not really effervescent.
It does say sherbet powder is an effervescent drink or a fizzy powder sweet. Ah, right, effervescent drink, right. So it's an effervescent drink, Alan, or a fizzy powder.
Oh, so then you freeze it and it becomes sherbet.
So he's obviously looked that up on Wikipedia, Alan. Well done.
Yeah.
We thought you were being clever for a minute then.
He's an android.
Oh, better than being you.
Very, very down in the dumps today, Alan. What's the problem?
I'd rather be outside. We've got to wait for Amazon to come. Every time I go outside, he calls, leaves a card.
Yeah, you nip the shop for 5 minutes and he comes in that minute.
Yeah, exactly, Tony. Exactly.
How does that happen? Like the laws of probability state that should never realistically happen, but it happens all the time.
Fine.
Well, your neighbours just take it for you.
Alan doesn't like his assignment anymore. He's been assigned to show this channel, but he's gotten bored of it. Maybe he was demoted from a better assignment in order to do this, and he's kind of resentful of it. That's what it seems like.
Well, don't let me stop you making things up, Nummy.
Who were you trolling before this show? Is it the Christians?
Hey, Arwin, are you going to debate Scott?
Maybe.
It's like, have you ever read Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness? You know, he gets punished as a punishment. He's assigned to go into to fulfill some job in the middle of the Congo. You know, he has to go up the river and be the colonel at some outpost in the middle of nowhere. I think that's what's going on with Alan.
Sounds amazing. You tell the story so well.
I just woke up, so whatever.
Is that the synopsis on the back?
No. I'm at a disadvantage, though. You know, I just have to get out of bed and start doing this. So I didn't tell the story very well, but whatever. I told the story. Point is that you've been turning real sour lately. You've been turning real cranky, and it's like,
Maybe.
why are you here? Why are you here? It doesn't seem like you even. It seems like you don't even want to be here. That's what I'm saying. But
he's just butthurt because Nathan shouted at him the other day. He'll get over it.
Nathan doesn't shout at anybody. That's just a script.
Yeah, well, you are butthurt though.
Not really. He just does that for Tom, John Watkins, Mr. Ute. They love it. Nathan thinks it gets him support.
Otherwise known as the audience.
You know, Nathan did train as an actor, so he knows how entertainment works.
That's true.
Well, it is kind of entertaining, isn't it?
Well, you should debate Scott. I think that would be interesting one-on-one.
Who's Scott?
I'll talk to him. Yeah, unless I really know what it's even about.
You should speak to him. I think genuinely, Arwin, I think it'd be interesting.
Okay.
He's on about M. Scott Beach, the son of an astronaut that lied to him.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds more like a liar to me than somebody who was lied to.
Here we go.
So who is? There's an astronaut with the last name Beach.
Yep.
Don't know. He must have. There must be. That's probably why he calls himself it. It's probably not his real name.
You should probably employ him on here.
Charles Beach. Huh.
What's this, Ranty?
Oh, it's a nice little boat. I wanted to ask you what you thought was going on here with the boat.
Bit of refraction.
Yeah, but what do you think's happening? Do you think the boat's going over the curve there, or do you think the boat's just being blended out and refracted?
It's clearly been refracted. It'd be nice if it was in focus.
You realise how far this boat away was, don't you?
Yeah, I realise you've never read the manual either.
Or
What kind of camera you got, Alan?
Nikon 810.
Nice.
so, what do you think is going on here? Is it going over the curve? Because all your bowler friends always seem to say this is going over the curve when we got this miraging going on. That's what they say.
Well, you can see the spot.
Which spot? This spot.
Yeah.
Is a repeat of that spot, yeah. And this red part is a repeat of that, and that's clearly refracted back on itself. So it is mirroring, isn't it? It's not going over the curve, is it?
It's the optical slant, as Arwin would say.
Indeed, you're learning very quickly, I have to say. I do have to say you are incredibly quick today. Maybe you're coming round to the flat Earth.
What's with the blades going in the water, though, Ranty?
Again, optical. The optical slant.
Hyena.
So what kind of lenses have you got, Alan?
You what?
Got £1,000 camera. So what kind of lenses have you got?
Got about 8 or 9 primes, perhaps 5 or 6 telephotos.
Got zooming primes, have you?
Yes.
You've got all this.
I've got some fixed telephotos. They don't actually do.
Can you show us some images, please? I'd love to see some of your photography work.
You got some fixed telephotos and some zooming primes.
No, I haven't got any zooming primes. Primes don't zoom.
No, I know.
Telephotos, the tubes are a fixed length.
Sure. What are you photographing?
I take a lot of macro pictures, portrait pictures, landscapes, stars.
Bit of everything then.
Well,
Have you ever caught any curvature, Alan?
what in my portraits?
In any of your pictures?
Slow week, eh? Should we talk about the weather like you did on Sunday?
So was that a no? Then you've not got any curvature either.
I don't go looking for it.
So you haven't got any curvature then, no?
I'm completely out of art, Tony.
When
You
you
don't
say
have
don't
any
go
curvature.
looking for it, though, I mean, we had Mark Doxey on the panel, and from memory, his journey started with him going through some old photos that he'd taken quite some time ago, and going, "Wow, I've actually got some, some really cool flat Earth evidence in my repertoire of old photos." So, if you're on a sphere, obviously it's curving away from you from every single point. That's the nature of a sphere. So, presumably, every photo's a globe, proof, right? Any landscape.
I don't think you understand scale, Nathan. I don't think you ever have.
I haven't seen any of your pictures. I don't know how big a landscape you've taken pictures of.
Got some beautiful pictures of Keswick.
Okay, fair enough. How big of an expanse is Keswick?
It's quite a big expanse up on the peaks there.
So you might have some globe Earth evidence in those photos. You never know your luck.
I think I'll leave the flat Earth evidence to Tim.
Tim.
That's very good advice.
Show us that bulge, Tim.
That was a subtle dig if ever I've heard one.
Yeah, sorry, but you're only gonna find a real physical bulge on halfway a male, and you might find some curvature on a woman.
You're still trying to find Tim's bulge.
What do you think about Tim's bulge, Owen?
No,
I thought it was very small and non-distinctive. Couldn't really tell it whether.
Why was that directed towards Arwin? It was Ranty that said that.
I'm going for the comedy value.
I don't.
So if anybody out there
about
knows where the
bulges,
rumpus is, let's get the rumpus in and let's see if we can dissect his maths. Apparently he had a hangout last night. In fact, actually, I think he said he was having it on his channel. Let's have a quick look.
Really? Okay.
But he has a new channel now, doesn't he?
I don't know.
He got banned on his old one for being an idiot.
Being a Burke.
This
No, he hasn't
too
done it
a
on his
bit
own
moist,
channel.
does it?
Oh, I
This
don't think he
idea
has.
of a rumpus hangout.
Alan
Okay.
B is a snake like the rest.
What's this,
Seems
Lemmy?
nasty in the act, and his act here is more insidious. Are you more nasty? Are you a snake like the rest, Alan?
No idea. Who's that? Pete Shea?
Yeah, the agent Shay
He's probably high on piss.
thinks I'm an agent.
He's crazy. He needs help.
So, Anthony, do you want to do the Tim debunk, or do you want to wait for Tim to come in and then we can just do it together, or should we just do it without him being here?
Wow. And Scott Veach has actually an IMDb profile.
Yes, he's a
That's weird.
screenwriter. He's a very good one as well.
He's a producer director in Hollywood. Yes, funny that.
Well,
Space will be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
No, you missed your calling.
I missed my call. Yes, sorry.
where's Isa? Where's Isa with the guitar? You could form a flat Earth band.
Every band is a flat Earth band, Alan.
Oh,
Not
Yeah,
when it's
every-
optical.
Every picture is a flat Earth picture.
Yes.
Every story is a flat Earth story.
So I guess you're gonna wait, Anthony, for Tim to come in.
I'm just responding to Slice Barcane. He's one of the most intellectually dishonest people I've ever known. He still claims that he can't see the land, the floaty land on the beach in the footage. So until he can admit and accept that it is there and he can actually see it, I'm just going to let everybody know how intellectually dishonest the guy is.
Yeah,
So
but how's that answered my question?
It hasn't. I just wanted to attack Sly because he's been a prick, an idiot.
Right, okay. Right, well, can you answer mine then?
I don't know. Let's put the call out for Timothy and let's see if we can get Timothy Osman out of bed with his girly ankles. If he doesn't come on by, say, 3, the show, maybe we should do it at the beginning of the start.
Of the second one?
Yeah.
Start the second one. Okay, do it at the start. That'll be quite funny. I mean, he keeps bringing out these flat Earth proofs. It's just awesome. Will you be there, Alan? Will you be tuning in?
Tuning in for what, Ranty?
Oh, well, we're going to go over some of the presentation that Timothy put forward yesterday with his drone at 28 feet.
Oh, did he give you the footage?
Ah, saw it on the channel.
It's quite interesting stuff, though, isn't it?
Certainly is.
I'd love a drone. Maybe you should buy one. Fly it off the beach. Bees.
Get a big enough one, you could attach your 810 to it.
No, I don't think that camera costs a fortune. I don't attach that to anything. Good year's pension.
You ballers are good at spending other people's money, you know that.
Never signed on a day in my life, Ranty. So there you go.
Nor have I.
What about you, Nathan?
But still,
Yeah, I've signed on loads of times. I've been sacked from more jobs than I can remember.
See that, Ranty? He's a scrounger.
I am. Hit the super chat. If you're enjoying the show.
But at least he knows. He knows he's put his hands up in the air to say he's asking for money, which is fair enough. He puts a lot of work in to present the show, and a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't even see. And it is a full-time job what he's doing. Even though you only see 2 hours of it, you know, we behind the scenes, we see 10 hours of it. So hit the super chat.
Nathan is always there for us on Skype.
I'm always there for everyone.
All hail King Nathan.
Apart from those who I'm not there for. They can all sod off.
Praise Oakley off.
To death and goes, I've had enough of this flat Earth.
Never a
Make
dull
sure
day
that
on
we-
Flat Earth. You can never get bored of Flat Earth. How can you get bored of this?
It gets infuriating when the rumpus doesn't allow people to speak. I'll be honest, it really gets on my nerves. He has this really bad habit of interrupting everybody the minute they start speaking and then speaking over them.
Who's
It's
that?
really bad.
Who's that?
The rumpus.
The rumpus.
Yeah.
Called the Rumpus for a reason, right?
Hello?
Fantasy Dog's home. Can I help you?
Ralph speaking.
Perfect pizza.
It'll be Mark Taylor.
Whose phone was it?
It's Alan.
Oh.
Mark Taylor's phoning him.
Yeah, they're telling me what to say.
He's found someone else to stalk.
Oh, has he not rang you for a while?
He hasn't rang me for a while now.
Check it out. Brazilian Goddess says, I shared the show in a room with 1,000 people today. Thank you, Brazilian Goddess. I really appreciate it. Do share the show if you've not done so already.
Yeah, share and share again. So yeah, so what do you think then? Would you be up for doing some presentations, Anthony? If Nathan did a Sunday show, just for the
Wow,
2 or 3 weeks.
got a producer. Check it out.
Exactly.
Had M. Scott Veach's videography on now. Ranty's producing the show. I love it.
I don't know. Most people kind of already know what my position is. Do I really need to do it again? Maybe. I don't know.
No, maybe put some of your highlights together.
Your presentation at the conference was fantastic, Anthony. I was in awe. It was spectacular. Really, really cracking presentation.
But then he deleted it.
Didn't delete it. I deleted the hour and 10-minute video that I left my camera on a phone on a tripod, pressed record, occasionally tilted it towards the screen if I was sat in front of it, but basically it was an hour of lots of stuff, and I just cut out, you know, the bits that took up an hour. You know what I mean?
Well, Anthony's debate, I think Anthony was talking for 59 minutes 37 seconds, so
20-minute presentation.
I thought the best part of it was the response that I got from the audience when I told them about Rumpus. Do you remember it, Nath?
There was two really good responses. They laughed their heads off when you said that Rumpus said he could prove it with maths, and they all laughed their heads off. And also there was another reaction when I screwed up the PowerPoint and put the globe on at the wrong moment, and they all booed.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great because I was trying to make the point that just because it can be explained with maths doesn't mean it's real world. And I said, if you got 2 apples, I can't physically take 3 apples from you. Or no, 5. I can't physically take 5 apples from you and leave you with -3 apples. And for me to physically have 5,
Depends
obviously
what
if you've only
apples
got
you're
2
talking
apples, you
about.
can only take 2. And then I showed Rumpus's comment saying you can in maths, and they were laughing, and I was like, "Yay, Rumpus dead!"
Yeah, it depends what apples you're talking about.
Well,
It depends.
take
Oh, that's a
5.
first. It depends on the apples. Okay, go on, Ranty.
Well, every man has 2 apples.
Not all men have 2 apples.
Most men I know probably have 2 apples.
The odd unfortunate guy ends up losing one periodically.
You got something to share with us, Anthony?
No, I went to school with a guy that slid down the banister, you know, like American
Well, I
style.
don't even want to hear about it. No. Fuck off.
No swearing.
He ruptured one.
No.
Clean.
No.
It had to be removed.
Bruised plum.
Do you know who it was? Wedge.
Wedge has only got one bollock.
Yeah.
Really?
Wedgie Womble.
Wedgie Womble. Wedgie Womble. No, he only had one bollock.
Right, let's get this flat Earth related. Come on. If you've got 2 apples, yeah, you can't take -3 apples off you and end up with 5 apples. So yes.
Yeah. If you got 2 apples, you can only take 2. And Rumpus said, you can in maths. And I'm like, yeah, you can do a lot of things in maths, like account for 700 feet of missing curvature. Let's see the maths that he puts to it, and then we'll test it with the science. So whenever you're ready, Rumpus, if anybody knows where he is, put up a good word and let's see if we can get him in without 20 minutes to go, so that we've got enough time to be able to get past 1 point without it being obfuscated to death. I'm sweating thinking about him just coming in.
I asked if you're getting a bit moist for Rumpus's hangout, and you are.
Oh, dear me.
Some harsh comments in the chat today. Face says, Brazilian goddess, you are the troll equivalent of AIDS. How harsh can you be? Wow.
Well, yeah, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I'll just tell everybody publicly now, Brazilian Goddess has entered my block list. And to be honest, I've had to put Mark Taylor on it, and I've also put Nick with no L on it, because I just think that neither of them add anything to the discussion. They just sit there tapping away like little keyboard warriors. And I had hope for Mark at one point. I actually thought he actually could debate, because he can do it. He just spends all his time in chat trolling. And I don't think he adds anything to it. So unfortunately, Mark, you're on the block list now, mate.
Mark's hilarious.
He's not really.
That's his catchphrase.
He is. He's hilarious. He's so dry. It's unbelievable.
How he gives away his sock accounts. Uses the word hilarious.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I said
shout
it.
out.
Maybe I'm Mark.
Shout out to Nick with Noel. He now has no troll. I've given up on him. He wouldn't have ended up on the block list if he'd have brought some evidence of something, but he's done it long enough now and he hasn't produced anything, so off he goes.
Some of these people are in a lot of pain. It's hard to let go.
Have I met the latest kid on the Discord block? Particle physicist Gold Steel. Nope. funny because Jeremy got me blocked on the Facebook on the Hangouts thing, so I can't see his comments in text. But he invited me to join his Discord the other day, and I thought, yeah, right. As if I'm going to go into Jeremy's Discord, I've seen what goes on in there. Shout out to Jem.
I'm just
Oh, sorry.
That's right. I'm just saying. I'm just looking through a few videos. I did one yesterday where I was holding the camera about 4.5 to 5 feet, and then I also held it at about 2.5 feet. So in that difference between one elevation and the next, from the exact same location, firstly at the lowest point, I was able to see bugger all of Barrow Furnace. So at 2.5 feet, couldn't see anything. And when I stood up to 4.5 to 5 feet, all the buildings popped back. The curvature calc said that I should have only seen an extra 16 feet from that actual distance, which is clearly not the case. Clearly, I was seeing probably 70 feet more by just raising myself that extra 2 feet. I'm just trying to find the video to show you that.
That's interesting because, yeah, I think that the visibility is going to be distributed into radial bands that are relatively like narrow, actually, like off the surface. So that makes sense.
What you call radial bands, Tim Osman yesterday was arguing that that's what you can call level. Am I correct? On a sphere?
No, I don't mean. I mean like radial bands, as in from the target object to the viewer. So such that, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're going to see, you might be able to see something at 1 foot, but then at 2 feet, you won't see it. And at 3 or 4 feet, maybe you'll see it, you know, like there'll be like a band of visibility, a band of distortion, a band of visibility, a band of distortion, like stacked on top of each other like that. Because that matches with the idea of that it's a diffraction pattern.
Oh, right. That's a sweet explanation for Anthony's multiple horizons going down when he's at the lowest of low.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what has been leading me to think that what's causing the distortion bands is actually diffraction of this from the surface. And I was pointing out to Anthony in this chat the other day that, or on Skype, that, you know, just the fact that we only ever see mirages at the horizon is a clue that mirages are caused by diffraction rather than refraction, because you'd think if they were caused by refraction that there'd be some instances where you'd see a mirage that was not at the horizon, right? Like that it would be like high above that, you know, above or below the, like that you could even see like a mirage like in the sky in certain conditions or something like that, but you never do. So it seems that there's a strong case to be made for that diffraction is what's causing the bands of optical distortion, and also the and inversions and things like that. Because I also don't see how refraction could be causing inversions of the image. I think that the whole explanation that we've been given is just totally false. It's just a big misleading mess, just like so many other things in physics.
The whole thing.
To be fair, though, Nummy, you think everything's false, everything's wrong.
No, I don't think everything's false. I think that what I'm saying is probably correct.
Brilliant. You thought Anne Frank's diary was written with a ballpoint pen, you buffoon.
Huh? Well, I know I didn't. I said that I read that somewhere. I mean, I haven't investigated it carefully myself. I'm just saying that.
So you just repeated it.
What? No, I wasn't even. I never claimed it as fact. I just said that there are controversies surrounding some of the evidence of the. I know we were just discussing the controversies.
Anyway, let's move on. Ranty's got a video.
The Holocaust is that I'm agnostic about it.
Agnostic to the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What you got, Ranty? Let's have a look.
Okay, then. Right. So I pretty much show you my feet. And I'm actually sinking in this sand right now because it is right on the beach, right next to the water. So here we are, looking across from my location where I always go, and I've crouched down now, and I'm looking over at barrowing furnace at an elevation of about 2.5 feet. Now, what's interesting is this blue line that on the ocean, this blue line, it isn't waves, it's air. All this blue line at the top is not waves, it's air. And you'll see that as I zoom in a little bit further. But look, all the buildings that normally line up this coast are here, where my cursor's going now. So from 2.5 feet, you know, it was choppy enough wind-wise, you know, but I can't see the buildings from that elevation. And can you see the air mimicking the water underneath? Now I stand up and I go to an elevation of 5 feet. Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Ranty proves the curve again.
Well, 5 feet wouldn't be nearly enough to demonstrate the curve.
I was just going to say 5 feet wouldn't be enough for you to rotate over the curve and pick it up.
Yeah. And you're also seeing an inverted image there, right? So I think like where you're actually at right there is kind of like between two different bands.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm at about 2.5 feet, and when I stand up, I'm about 4.5 to 5. So there's a difference of between 2 and 2.5 feet. So from what you've just seen right now to what you see now, the difference in 2.5 feet. Look how
That's
much
the tilt of the camera, though. You can see that evidently.
It doesn't matter. The tilt of the camera has no.
Of course it does, you buffoon. He's pointing it into the sea.
Why would that make any difference?
I'm sorry I wasn't able to keep focus on the actual the barrow at full zoom when I was moving positions.
Some kind of tripod.
Yes.
I mean, it looks like you're on a small trampette.
No, the tilt of the camera has no bearing on what you're going to see at the horizon.
But what you will see is this line, this area of blue isn't the waves. That's the air mimicking the water underneath. And you can actually see above it. Actually, I'll just go back a tad, because you can actually see where the actual refraction starts here. So that band of refraction is massive. It's mimicking the air above it, and it's mimicking the sea beneath it. This is this blue area here that it's mimicking, and there it's mimicking the air, the sky above it. And so that's what's blocking. That's causing the blockage.
Ranty, do you know what Fata Bramosa is?
I'm sick of hearing all these Fata this and Fata that. But you can tell me, go on, which one's this? Because it's obviously a brother or sister of another Fata this or Fata that.
So was that a yes or a no?
It was a no. But
Fata
essentially,
Bramosa is where the water is being reflected on top of the actual water. So it makes the horizon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah.
It's what I've actually, yeah.
Just remember the phrase Fata Bramosa, because ultimately, if we're describing something that we can accurately describe, we should do it.
Right. Okay. Fata Bramosa. Right. Okay.
Yeah. If the horizon is raised by virtue of the water underneath being reflected on top of it, then it's a Fata Bramosa.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share this because I thought it was really interesting that slight change, that's 2.5 foot change in elevation, brought us out of that zone that we couldn't see through.
No. Well, I think that's incredibly interesting, and thank you for sharing that. You know, and I think a few days ago, if you go back, I actually predicted that exact thing in another video. And I was saying that I was saying that it would be really great if you could get two people, like, you know, Anthony and Ranty together to try to more or less take the same shot from, you know, 2 or 3 feet, like try to do it simultaneously. But I mean, this is almost the same thing, right? But yeah, that it's demonstrating that the optical distortion bands are organized in layers, or like radial lines out from the target object. So I think this is we're really homing in on the real cause of the what we're seeing at the horizon there. It's really cool. And we have to figure it out for ourselves, because the explanations given to us by mainstream lions are false. They don't work. They're wrong. We need a new vocabulary for all of this stuff that we have to invent ourselves.
Right. Anthony said something similar. We don't have science behind us. There is no science for a flat Earth. All these sorts of things are echoing what you're saying now, Nami, which is that the terminology that's used is wrong. We had it yesterday. It's a conflation of the term mirage. And when the weatherman says that it's a mirage, what he means is it's curving around the Earth through infinite layers of gradient densities of the atmosphere, infinite Snell effects bending the straight light through an angle and then another angle, infinitely to bend it around the curve of the Earth to appear where it should not appear. That's what they call a mirage. When we say mirage, we mean the stuff clearly obvious on screen where there's a mirror line, a fold line, and you can see the same stuff above as below. That's what we mean when we say mirage, and it's visually obvious.
And I think mirages are the effect of diffraction and not refraction. Refraction, all it causes is scintillation, like very, very subtle optical distortion, and all the rest of those things are all caused by diffraction. So the whole idea, like they've created this huge misleading,
Yeah, I agree,
mythology of refraction that actually is like, it's just meaningless.
it's so distorted from reality, it becomes nonsensical and non sequitur, because the air is almost a vacuum when it comes to the movement of light.
Yeah.
It's so close to a vacuum, it might as well be a vacuum. Obviously, I'm not going to say that, but it actually is the case.
Well, also the effects of refraction are they're not gonna be able to act like they do in something like liquid, right? Because the gas is just such a different kind of state of matter than liquid or solid, right? In the sense that it's the molecules of gas are independent of each other. So it's like a big swarm of microscopic objects. It's not like they're not bonded together energetically. So the way that light behaves as it moves through gas is just not even comparable to something like water.
Unbelievable. Nothing you say makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
A series of words. It's like a streaming of consciousness.
Well, how's about this one, Alan?
Light
traveling through the atmosphere is effectively a vacuum. It's almost a vacuum. It's so close to being a vacuum. It might as well be a vacuum. Do you understand that?
Might as well, but isn't.
Yeah, well, Alan, but if what I'm saying is nonsense, then how did I use what I'm saying to predict this optical band?
Anything, you've got no proof. You're always wrong.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure. You can go back and listen to it. I'd
rather not.
I actually predicted what Ranty was showing in his video today a few days ago. I actually predicted it.
Well, so if you predicted that, maybe you should do mine, Ranty's, and Tony's lottery ticket for the weekend.
Yeah, you're a silly man.
6 numbers.
Yeah, you're just here to troll. Haha, you lose.
Go on, Tony. What were you saying?
Alan, if me and you bought a lottery ticket, we're putting £1 each. They're £2 now, aren't they? Lottery tickets.
Yes.
If we put the numbers on and we won, if I had the ticket in my possession, would you trust me to give you the money? The winnings?
Oh, there's a question.
It is. But if you flip it on the head and you were the one that had the ticket, I'd trust you to give me the money.
Why? Really?
I saw that episode with Mark Taylor though on the moon thing.
Yeah, Mark Taylor, he doesn't understand how he didn't actually win that bet. He claims the victory, but like all ballers, claims the victory, but without actually having the evidence to support it.
Tony, I'd hope you do the right thing.
I would.
I hope you have a good time with the money.
No.
Yeah. Spending your bit, spending my bit.
Don't take the bait. He's just here to drag the conversation down into the
Just because I told you to shut up because you're talking nonsense, don't get the titty lip on.
The titty lip on? No. He's just trying to drag us into the gutter. Really. We're better off without this guy, but if he's going to hang around, you should just try to ignore this.
Nathan, how long's the gap going to be, the break? 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
right,
something
okay.
like that.
Oh, is he taking a break?
Yeah, I'm on mute so that I can do the break. So thanks for that, Anthony. That's really helpful.
So how do we know when the break starts?
Yeah. So for the audience's benefit, there'll be a short break basically. So I'll split the show into 2 halves, and I'll end the show in about 2 minutes' time.
Right. The thing I would like to know is there an Antarctic expedition? And I'm only asking this because it seems on a lot of my recent videos I'm getting people saying, "Are you going on this Antarctic expedition?" So is either that just like a throwaway kind of dig, go and find the wall, or is it a kind of there is an expedition going, or what? Does anybody know anything about that?
It's a thing with IPS. I think he's trying to. I think this is what it is, anyways. That he's trying to crowdfund people to go on this, where they're chartering a flight to fly over the South Pole.
Yeah, how are they going to get permission to fly that?
I don't know all the details, but apparently, like they actually, I don't know. It seems like I'm not sure what the details are. You'd have to look into it, but I think that that's just what they're referring to, anyways. Is that there's supposedly this trans-polar expedition happening, and IPS has been promoting it and crowdfunding it.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate, and also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!